So for fixing and flipping houses, a lot of times people want to know, well, what does that cost, right? So I'll give you some short rule of thumbs that we use with our students. So for fixing a house, when it comes to the roof, you're going to pay anywhere from $10 to $15 a foot. So if a 1,000 square foot house is going to be $10,000 for the roof, if it's a 1,500 square foot house, it'll be $15,000 for the roof. It's 10 to 15, so it could be a little higher, right? Central air, typically we're paying about $7,000. That's a pretty decent price, and that would be to put in the compressor and the air handler, as well as the ductwork for the central air, right? For the interior, typically we're paying about $25 to $30 a foot in order to do an interior remodel. So if you've got a 1,000 square foot house, it would be $25,000 to $30,000, and that would include new flooring, new kitchens, new bathrooms, new paints, new ceiling fans, and new baseboards, right? Keep in mind that the components you use are going to vary the price. So if you're using 69 cents tile, it's going to be cheaper than if you're using $3.29 LVP flooring, as an example, right? So, but those components don't really make that much of a difference, because if you're talking a 1,000 square foot house, $2 a foot is $2,000 different to your rehab. So it may be the difference between your rehab being $27,000 versus $29,000, right? So good rule of thumb, use about $25 to $30 a foot. So on a 1,000 square foot house, figure interior $30,000. If it needs a new roof, figure somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000. So it puts you at $45,000. If it needs AC, another $7,000 would put you at $52,000. That's the top end of the spectrum for the roof. And then you're going to need appliances. So we use BrandSmart for appliances. You can get a stainless steel package, like a Samsung package. It's basically a stove, a refrigerator, microwave, and dishwasher for about $3,000. Sometimes they have them on sale for as low as $1,800. It just depends, but $3,000 is a good budget number. So in the specific house I just mentioned right there, 1,000 square foot house, figure, $30,000 on your interior, $50,000 on your roof would put you at $45,000. $7,000 for the AC would put you at $52,000, and with appliances would put you at $55,000. So that's painting the interior and exterior of the house, new kitchens, new flooring, new bathroom, new ceiling fans, repairing any doors, drywall, things like that. Now, if you've got bigger issues with the house, for example, if you've got plumbing issues, or if you've got electrical issues, let's say you need to redo electrical, that could cost you easily $5,000, $7,000. If you've got to redo plumbing, that could cost you easily another $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. If you've got drain fields that need to be redone for septic tanks, that could cost you some decent money. I've seen people do that for $15,000, $20,000. I've seen people do it for $7,000. The key thing for you when you're fixing and flipping houses is what you're looking for is houses that have good structure, like a good 3-2 that has, a nice backyard where the roof is not leaking and that already has central air. So now you're only dealing with maybe changing out a compressor or air handling, or if you're lucky, maybe just doing a coil cleaning on the AC. And a house like that, just taking out the flooring and the kitchen and the bathrooms and paint, you can probably do that entire house for $33,000, $35,000. And those are the kind of houses that work best for us for fix and flips. They also work very, very well if you want to do rentals, and you don't necessarily have to always fix them up as well for rentals. It does depend on your market. So if you're focusing on Section 8 rentals, you're probably going to use that cheap 59, 69 cents tile. But if you're focusing on a little bit of a quality neighborhood, you may want to go a little higher with the luxury vinyl plank as an example. But at the end of the day, figure on a lot of these houses in that 1,000 square foot to 1,200 square foot, you're looking at probably spending somewhere from $35,000 to $50,000 in rehab, right? So if you're looking to buy a house to fix and flip, one of the things that I recommend you do is that you use my rehab property calculator. I'll go ahead and drop a link below for that. But understand the components and the costs that are involved, because it's not just, I see wholesalers all the time who say $280 for this house, ARV $350. And I'm looking at the house and I'm thinking, well, how is this a deal, right? If I buy this at $280, I spend $50, $60 grand fixing it up. By the time I factor in closing costs and fees and points and holding costs and interest and commissions and everything else, I'm going to lose a ton of money. The wholesaler who says that is somebody who hasn't rehabbed the house, right? And you need to have a decent spread on a house. A good rule of thumb, if you're dealing on these like sub $200,000 houses, you need to have about $100,000 spread between what you purchase it for and what you can flip it for. So if you've got $100,000 spread, you can afford to spend $20,000 in fees, commissions, etc. You can spend maybe $40,000 in rehab, and then that leaves you with a balance for profit, right? So those are the kind of deal that you can walk away with, let's say $40,000 profit on. So the market that we're in right now, I'm going to suggest that you learn how to buy deep. There's way too many beginning investors out there that are trying to get into rehabbing and fixing, flipping, that are absolutely losing their shirts because they bought 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and they paid too much. Some wholesaler sold them a bill of goods. They believed the wholesaler. They thought the house was worth $380, and now it turns out it's only worth $300, right? So if you're going to be buying fix and flips, I highly encourage that you get the training that you need. The worst kind of education you can get is no kind of education, right? So if you want to fix and flip houses, I highly encourage you to come to my Fixing and Flipping Houses bootcamp. I'll spend 3 days with you and I will teach you how to not overpay for a house. I'll teach you how to run the numbers correctly so that you don't overpay and that you only buy houses that you can make a profit on, right? Because the last few years, one of the phenomena that I've noticed in the market is that these wholesalers are taking deals, they're buying them at not such great prices, and they're jacking them up 40, 50,000, and then they're selling them to buyers who don't know any better and who are overpaying. And I don't want you to be that buyer. I want you to be a sophisticated buyer. If you join my training program, I will teach you how to make the right buying decisions and buy the right houses at the right price.